Welcome everyone. My name is Omane Abu and I am a water conservation specialist for the City of Glendale Water Services Department. Thank you so much for joining us for this lunch and learn to learn about energy and water savings. The City of Glendale Water Services Department and SRP are teaming up to provide you with tips on how to save money, energy, and water at home while promoting comfort and livability. We're very excited about this webinar and we are so glad that you're here with us virtually. So before diving in, let's go over some webinar logistics. Attendees are muted and the class will be recorded. The recording will be made available on the city's water conservation website and YouTube channel in about a week. You can type your questions and comments in the Q&A section and we will read and respond to them throughout the webinar. The webinar is scheduled to be 1 hour long and will aim to stay on track as we want to be respectful of your time. If for any reason you should experience any significant technical difficulties, please contact Ann Staley via email or phone. Her email is astaley, ASTALHLEY @glendaleaz.com, or you can call her at 623-930-3550. After this presentation, we'll send a follow-up email including the PowerPoint, resources, recording, and a link to the survey. And please complete the survey to let us know how we're doing. We value your feedback, and if you complete the survey, you'll be entered in for a chance to win some great efficient prizes for the home. You could win a high-efficiency shower head, a watering stake, smart thermostat, or a Chilean mesquite tree. So good luck to everyone who enters. I'll take a quick moment to go over some Zoom attendee features. Here is what your current view might resemble. Feel free to play around with the features until you feel comfortable. If you're new to Zoom, I'll point out a few attendee features and work my way from left to right. First, you can adjust the audio settings in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Next, just to make it easier for us to track your questions and comments, we have disabled the chat. Please use the Q&A button to send any questions or comments to us. And lastly, you can enlarge the presentation view by dragging the gray vertical bar located in between the presenter and the presentation slide. All right, and then I will hand this off to Anne for our first poll question.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Ann Staley with the City of Glendale. You guys can't see me, but you can hear me. And I'm about to launch the first poll for the Lunch and Learn workshop. So we'd like to know, in what city are you guys all joining us from? There are many options here. Select which option applies to you. If we don't have your city listed, there's an other category at the very bottom of the list. We'll take a moment to grab some of the responses. Thanks so much, you guys. So as you guys can see, here we go.
Awesome. I love that we're seeing people all around the valley and definitely our Glendale peeps. So thank you again so much for tuning in today. It's awesome. I know you guys better already. All right. All right, I'm excited to introduce you to our first presenter. Tanya is a senior event strategist at SRP, and also here with SRP is Lena, who will be available to help answer any energy-related questions in the Q&A section of Zoom. Welcome, Tanya, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Omane. I'm pleased to be here today. I'm an ASU grad. I've been with SRP for over 13 years. My name is Tanya, and I enjoy sharing energy efficiency information with customers and that I've learned over all these years. And now I'm going to start with a little bit about SRP history. Slide. SRP is a community-owned public utility, which means we are a not-for-profit utility, and we love our community. SRP community ties go back many years, all the way back to 1902 as a part of the Federal Reclamation Act. A group of Valley farmers went to the federal government and asked for their help in building the 8 dams and 131 miles of canal system that we have today. 1 year after the Roosevelt Dam was built, Arizona became the 48th state. And today, our board is still a group of Valley farmers with SRP's best interest at heart with every decision made. The book that you see pictured here is available for free download at srpnet.com/history. And now we're going to talk about how to make your home efficient, or how to make your home an efficient home. We'll explore efficiency and some of the products and actions that can help save you money on your bills and make you more comfortable at home. And let's be honest, in Arizona, that is one of the big deals in the summertime, is being more comfortable. Right now, we're going to start with lighting. Slide. Lighting has changed a bit over the years, and shopping for light bulbs has gotten quite daunting as there are many options to choose from. The good news is that most options are efficient. In fact, LEDs, light emitting diodes, they are over 75% more efficient and far cooler than their incandescent counterparts, which were actually phased out in 2012, mainly because while Thomas Edison had a great, bright idea when inventing those light bulbs, only 5% of that energy is creating light. The other 95% wasted heat, something we certainly don't need more of in Arizona. Now, SRP discounts can be found on srpmarketplace.com. Now, when shopping for light bulbs, a couple of tips to keep in mind to find the best light for your home. First, look for the lighting facts. There are 2 examples of the lighting facts on this slide. And yes, it looks similar to the nutrition facts for food. And that was by design, as most people know that when they're looking at the nutrition facts for food, they're looking at the contents of that box or package. Same thing with light bulbs. So consider the lighting facts, the nutrition facts for light bulbs. Now, the first thing to look for when you're looking at the lighting facts is the lumen. That is the actual light output of the light bulb. Now, there's also a really easy side-by-side comparison of incandescent LED bulbs and the lumens that they produce. Now, the lumen, this is not an exact number. It's give or take depending on the manufacturer, but you get a good idea of what you might be getting with this chart. Now, the second thing you'll be looking for is the color of light, which is shown by the Kelvin temperature. And that's not the actual heat that's being produced, that's the color or the light appearance. Slide. Here's a different look at the Kelvin temperature broken down a little bit more. The primary colors that are available for residential use are the warmer white, which is in the 2700 K, which is probably the closest to the incandescent as far as color goes, or the cooler white at 3000 K, or even the cooler bluer daylight color measuring at 5000 K. There's no right or wrong when selecting the light appearance, rather than just keeping the same color in each room or lighting situation. You can create different moods with different hues for the light side, or just keep the color of light consistent. Slide. Now, here's something I discovered at a friend's house, and I had to take a photo to demonstrate how maddening it can be to have various different color temperatures in one room, or as shown here in one fixture. So just use the lighting facts to help you guide your purchase for the right bulb every single time. LEDs come in various shapes, wattages to take care of any lighting need in your home. There are even smart light bulbs that you can control from your phone while at home or even away. So that's always a nice feature. Slide. Now, I don't know how many still have the CFL or compact fluorescent light bulbs at home. That would be the twisty light bulb shown here, but I certainly do. I don't just change stuff out because there's new technology. I'm going to go through the bulbs that I have before I go buy new ones. So I do like to remind customers that there is safe, free disposal of CFLs at any Home Depot, any Lowe's nationwide, and of course locally. And if you look on savewithsrp.com, you can also find the over 25 ACE and True Value locations that carry the SRP CFL recycling program, where you can drop off CFLs for free and they'll dispose of them safely. The reason we ask you to dispose of them properly is because each CFL has minute amounts of mercury in them, and we certainly don't want that getting into our landfill and with potential to get in the groundwater. Next, we'll talk about appliances. Slide. When shopping for LEDs, electronics, or appliances, look for the Energy Star logo. It's a system that's overseen by a third party that tests all appliances that have similar bells and whistles to provide the estimated energy use per year. You can use this guide to steer your purchase. If you cannot find the energy guide, ask an associate. It might be available electronically. The great news is when you buy an Energy Star appliance, you're not only saving energy, but you're going to save water as well. More about that later. Now, some information about how to slay energy vampires. Slide. Energy vampires are those electric items that even when you turn them off, they're still consuming energy. Here's an example. When I was growing up in the 70s, it took a little while for TVs to turn on and completely warm up. Now they turn on just like that. That's because they are always on. It's called residual energy. Other culprits, cell phone chargers, frankly, any device you might be charging at home. Even when not plugged into that device charging, it could potentially be using energy. A really easy test, you can feel the plug. If it's warm, it's consuming energy. There are a couple of ways to make sure this is not happening in your home. You can either be diligent about unplugging smaller appliances that are not in use all the time, or you can use a power strip to help slay those energy vampires. Also, consider creating a charging station for all of those chargeable devices. Just make sure to hit the power button when everything is off. If you've got kiddos, consider letting them decorate that power strip with colored Sharpies or even fun duct tape so they actually want to use it. There's also some really great smart power strips available on srpmarketplace.com for you to discover. Slide. All right, this slide, I'm going to wait and don't press play just yet, but this particular slide has got a video in it. Insulation provides a line of defense between attic temperatures and the comfort of your living space. Now, this video is a demonstration of good and bad, well done and poorly done insulation. There's no good or bad insulation. It's just installed properly or not. On the left is well done insulation. On the right is poorly installed insulation. And you will see the slide on the image on the right, the temperature is going to move a lot faster because there's basically deviations in that insulation. And so the same thing is going to happen in your attic. All right, go ahead and hit play, Anne. See how quickly that right side is increasing? That's your comfort in the summertime. So the effectiveness of insulation material is measured in R values. Typically, the higher the R value, the more effective the material is going to be at reducing heat transfer. And increasing the amount of insulation in your attic will improve your comfort, so your AC runs less, which means a smaller bill. For details about SRP's standalone program, where SRPs can get up to $600 rebate for adding insulation, please say see savewithsrp.com. All right, slide. SRP has got an excellent tiered rebate program for new ACs, and that is based on the AC size or tonnage. If you're not an SRP customer, please check out your utilities webpage. If replacing your AC is not in your budget, please have your AC looked at once, if not 2 times a year, to make sure that it's running as efficiently as possible. And you can also find a list of contractors on SRP's website at savewithsrp.com. Also, choosing the right air filter is important as well. Here are 4 different filters to consider. The one all the way on the left is spun fiberglass, and thus it's the most porous of the 4, and we do not recommend it. We've got a lot of dirt and allergens flying around in our air, and if you don't have a good filter filtering them out, all of those dirt and allergens will go up into your AC and also into your home. Who likes to dust? Not me. So don't use that spun fiberglass. Consider instead perhaps the mid-grade pleated. That would be the one right next to the spun fiberglass. And it's also pictured a bit larger on the right. Now, the mid-grade pleated, you can find a 3-pack at both Home Depot and Lowe's for under $10. And we do like you to change it every 30 days, not every 90 days like the package suggests. That 90-day suggestion is a nationwide suggestion, and if they were putting that out there regionally, they would agree with us that you need to change it every 30 days. Now, I like to also point out the more expensive air filters. Those are going to be the last 2 that you see on the right here. And these are high performance air filters. Now, when you see that word out there in the stores, consider this. High performance is also going to equal a higher cost at the store and then again at home in energy costs because these air filters are so restrictive. You can actually clearly see that not only these high performance air filters are using a thicker, denser material, but the pleats are also closer together, making your AC work a lot harder to draw that air up. So be sure and look for that mid-grade pleated. There's a 3-pack at both Home Depot and Lowe's for under $10. Slide. And here's an example of that 3-pack. I happen to shop at Home Depot, and so that's the 3-pack from Home Depot. And I usually get 3 3-packs at the beginning of the season just so that I can have plenty of air filters set and ready to go once I want to change it. Now, the picture over here on the right, that's my idea of I date the air filter before I put it up in the return, just mostly so that I'm thinking about it all the time. If you've got a smart thermostat, you can also set a reminder for every 30 days. If you've got pets, you might also want to change it every couple, like 2-3 weeks, depending on your pet dander situation. Also, allergies come into play as well. So, all right, slide. All right, now we're going to talk about thermostats. There are 3 thermostat options out there, the standard on and off, which we don't really recommend because we definitely like customers to take advantage of our time of day programs. And if you've got an off-on thermostat, it's not going to allow you to have it working for you while you're not at home. So consider a programmable thermostat. There are actually programmable thermostats for under $30 at many hardware stores. And if you visit SRP's DIY website, there are also easy step-by-step instructions on how to install that. Now, the next one is the smart thermostat. This is the one that everybody is like super excited about, including me. I currently have an ecobee Lite, and ecobee actually gives you the option of making it programmable or smart. If you don't like that smart feature, then you don't have to use it. But many people really do because it is not only more convenient, but you can also control it from afar. When you're on vacation, you can see what's going on at your house with your thermostat. So that's pretty cool. It's also going to show you about the different savings that you're actually achieving by having the smart thermostat at home. To find out more about SRP's rebates available for smart thermostat, you can check out savewithsrp.com. We offer $50 for up to 2 different smart thermostats in the home that will come in the form of a bill credit. And there is another program called Bring Your Own Thermostat if you happen to already have a thermostat. And you can find out more about that on savewithsrp.com. And I believe Lena is dropping links into chat as I'm speaking. So just really great information. You can also find smart thermostats for sale on SRP Marketplace. And do check with your utility to see if they've got a rebate available if you happen to not be an SRP customer. One other quick thing, like Omane mentioned at the beginning, 5 lucky customers are going to win smart thermostats just for being present today. So be sure and watch your email for that notification. All right, slide. If you don't have a pool in your backyard, your electric water heater is your second largest energy consumer behind your AC. There are many timers out there. This is an example of a manual timer. There's also a digital timer, and you can find these for under $80 wherever you shop for hardware, even on Amazon. And this can really help you control some energy costs by only having it on when you actually need it. I've got a water heater timer in my garage, and I have my water heater on only in the morning and in the evening for dinner. So I've only got it on for about 5 hours total. It's off the rest of the time. If you're on one of SRP's time of day plans, even better, because you're saving all that money while it's off during that more expensive time frame, right? So your return on investment for the water heater timer is actually quite quick, and it really it's determined by how much hot water you use at home. Slide. All right, shade is good. And frankly, in the summertime, I will park a mile away from wherever I'm going if I can find a shady parking spot. And I'm sure that I'm not alone. Now, throwing shade on your home by any means possible is also going to allow you to be more comfortable, to save some energy, and in this case, plant some beauty in your yard. Now, SRP has got a really excellent shade tree program, and we've got some webinars coming up. One is going to be later this month on the 31st of July. And if you attend this webinar, we'll give you 3 different locations that you can come and pick up 2 free shade trees from SRP. You do have to be an SRP electrical customer to qualify for this. So hopefully you are one of our customers. If not, consider planting a tree anyway. If you can't plant a tree, consider planting a bush near your window or door. Bushes can grow up to create a great wall of shade. Just be sure to make sure it's a xeriscape type plant or tree. That means it's desert adapted and does not use a whole lot of water to make it big and shady for your home. Slide. Here's another way that you can achieve shade: shade screens. You can DIY and build your own shade screens. In fact, you can find all of the materials that you need to build your own shade screens wherever you shop for hardware. And you can also find our step-by-step videos on our website on savewithsrp.com. If you're not a great DIYer, I am certainly not. I definitely recommend you using a licensed contractor. If you use a licensed contractor to build those shade screens and install them onto your home, you're going to get an 80 cents per square foot rebate. You do need to fill that rebate form out. Work with your contractor to fill it out so that we know how big those shade screens are that you installed on your home. Make sure that there is a nice gap between the actual screen and your window, because that is going to create an even bigger barrier between the heat and your home. All the way on the left-hand side is an example of a roller down shade screen. This is something where you can install it and actually take it with you if you might be moving in the future. It's also just a different option than installing something directly onto your home. And they can be found at just about any hardware store. I've seen them at Costco, Walmart, Target, various different places. So shade is easily attained. Slide. All right. Now, if you can't plant anything in your yard or install anything on the outside of your home, consider blackout drapes. This is an excellent way to keep the heat at the source of the heat. Keep that heat at the window. Don't let it come into your home. These blackout drapes can be found at Walmart, Target, Costco, Amazon. Perhaps the best options or varieties of options would be found at Target, Walmart, or Amazon, because they do have different styles, lengths, even some fun stuff for the kids. So there are so many options when you're looking for the blackout drape, and it's also very affordable and an easy application for any home dwelling. It's also going to save your furniture and rugs from fading, but mostly it's keeping that heat out, and it's also just, it's just a really good idea. All right, slide. Another easy thing that you can do in your home to keep the heat out and that cool air in is seal your home's envelope. Consider installing some weather stripping. This is a huge wall of weather stripping at a hardware store, and there are many different applications and mediums of weather stripping to apply to your home to make it more efficient. Slide. Now, this is an example of me putting new weather stripping on my front door. And this happened a couple months ago before it was crazy hot outside. So really the best time of year to do this is during the winter, when it doesn't matter if your door is wide open, because you definitely want to make sure your door is nice and clean. If you previously had weather stripping on there, make sure that all of the goo is gone from there before applying new stuff. So on the left-hand side, this is my front door with no weather stripping. At some point, I'm going to have a new door jamb put in there, because this is just, it's a result of time. And basically, time warps wood, and that's just something that happens, especially if it's under our summer sun. In the middle, this is the right-hand side of that door sealed. And then on the total right-hand side, this is the whole door fully sealed, and you can still see that little spy thing in the front door. And so this is the progression of weather stripping at my house, and I can definitely feel a difference in that heat transfer. Now, I am going to turn it over to Anne, and I'm going to assist Lena with any questions if y'all have any. And thank you so much for listening. I'm going to have some more exciting information at the very end, so stay tuned in. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. Okay, let's proceed with our poll question number 2. So we had a lot of great energy efficiency information being covered. So hopefully you guys are seeing the next poll question. What rebate programs does SRP offer customers? We have air conditioning, duct repair and sealing, insulation, new and rebuilt shade screens, smart thermostats, free shade trees, or all of the above. I'll take just a couple more seconds for everybody to poll. Your answers are anonymous, by the way. Great. We'll go ahead and share the results. And there we have it. Great job, you guys. All of these are options for rebates.
Hey, thank you so much, Anne. That's so awesome. Thanks again, Tanya, for sharing SRP's resources. All right. So here with Glendale, we have some awesome public art. This first slide is a statue called The Irrigators by artist Deb Gessner. And I thought it was appropriate since we are talking about water after all. It celebrates Glendale's roots in agriculture, and it pays tribute to the importance of irrigation in the development of community. If you ever want to see it in person, this statue is located outside the main entrance of the Glendale Main Library. And a fun fact about this feature is that it used to be a water fountain, but was transformed into a waterless feature to save water. Since SRP started with some of their history, Glendale would like to as well. Over a century ago, on February 25th, 1915, the town of Glendale actually purchased the waterworks property from Floyd Sign for $12,000. When you think about inflation, $12,000 back then would be approximately $300,000 today. The system had 2 wells with a 10,000 gallon elevated wood tank. What you see in the picture is a 25,000 gallon elevated steel tank, and it had distribution pipes for 160 customers. To give you an idea about the size of the steel tank, you could see a person standing about halfway up on the frame. I mean, that's pretty neat. I thought so. Now we're going to fast forward to nearly 70 years later. Glendale City Council adopted the Water Conservation Program in December of 1984, and they hired the first water conservation coordinator in 1985. You can see a newspaper article headed "Glendale Plugs Conservation to Reach Water Limit by '86." And this was about the city's goal to reduce its water consumption from 212 gallons per person per day to 199 gallons per person per day by December 1986. All right, on to water use. Let's break it down. A big take-home message that I have for you all today is that for most of us, more than half of our total water use is for outdoor purposes. On the left, you can see an infographic that shows the typical person uses about 120 gallons of water per day, with about 55 gallons being used indoors and about 65 gallons being used outdoors. The picture on the right is a traveling water tower that is made up of 120 gallon containers to show just how much water the average person uses. This display travels throughout the valley and is part of an Arizona homegrown campaign, Water Use It Wisely, where SRP and Glendale are both members. All right, now that we got some background, let's dive into how to read your water bill. Now, if you want to know how your daily water use compares to others, you can take your water bill and you'll see a number that represents your usage. It's usually in K or 1,000 gallons. So if it reads 11, you were using 11,000 gallons. Keep in mind that your water bill is actually showing you your water use from the month before. Your July water bill is really the water you used in June. So for this example, the K gallons is 11. You would take 11,000 gallons and divide that by the number of people in the house. So for this example, we have 3 people in the household. And you would divide that by the number of days in the month, 30, and that gets us to about 122 gallons per person per day. That's pretty close to the regional average that I shared in the previous slide, which was 120 gallons per person per day. All right, how to find your water meter. So before we talk about some water saving tips, I want to show you how to find and read your water meter and to check for leaks. The first thing you should do is walk out to the street. You should see a metal rectangular lid. You can prop it open with the help of a screwdriver if you have one handy. As we all know from living here, it can get very hot in the summer, so be careful. You might want to wear some gloves for added protection. Also be aware that sometimes critters like to hang out in or around the meter box, like spiders or even bees. So just be extra careful when you're propping that lid open. So now that we're inside the meter box, let's go through how to read it and check for leaks. So this is what the display of your water meter might look like. You want to make sure that there is no water use happening indoors or outdoors. And on this dial, you'll notice a small triangle. So I've highlighted the triangle in orange. So if you see that triangle moving, that tells us that water is moving through the meter. So when checking the meter, you'll want to be confident that there is no water use happening inside or outside. So for example, if you have the dishwasher running or a toilet flushing, this will cause that triangle to spin. But if you're positive that everything's off and you still see that triangle moving, you know that you have a leak. So once you've identified that there is a leak, the next step would be to isolate the leak. So on to the kitchen. So like Tanya said, when shopping for a new appliance, you want to purchase an Energy Star model to save water and energy. I also recommend looking for the WaterSense logo, as the logo identifies products and fixtures that are extremely efficient. So another way to think about this is just think of WaterSense as Energy Star's cousin. Some tips you can apply in the kitchen are to run full loads when using the dishwasher. As you can see on the right, the dishwasher is tightly packed, making the most of every inch. When you think about comparison, hand washing can use 27 gallons of water, whereas a WaterSense rated dishwasher uses only about 3 gallons of water per load. I feel like that's like such an incredible amount of savings. Other tips for the kitchen would be to run your garbage disposal sparingly and try composting fruits and vegetable peelings. Don't pour fats, oils, or grease down the drain. They can cause sewer blockages, which can be very expensive to fix. And lastly, don't forget to check the faucet, the dishwasher, and the ice maker for leaks. Next stop, laundry room. When shopping for a new washing machine, you want to purchase an Energy Star and WaterSense label model to continue to save that energy and water. Keep in mind that the newer front-loading washing machines uses significantly less water than top-loading washing machines. High-efficiency washing machines can use about 12 to 17 gallons versus a standard top load washer uses about 30 to 45 gallons per load. And just like with the dishwasher, you'll want to run full loads. An energy tip here would be that you could wash your clothes in cold water, and this would help save you energy from not having to heat up the water. All right, so let's head to the bathroom and talk about faucets and shower heads. So when shopping for a new shower head, be on the lookout for the WaterSense logo. I sense there's a common theme happening here, right? We keep seeing that WaterSense logo pop up. So the standard maximum flow rate for shower heads is 2.5 gallons per minute. And if we think about that, a 10-minute shower would use 25 gallons of water. And in today's market, shower heads are available for purchase that have a lower flow rate, like the example shown in the picture that uses 1.75 gallons per minute. So also in the bathroom, we have toilets, and toilets can be a big water user when there's a leak. And older homes can have toilets that use up to 5 gallons per flush. Here is a picture of a 0.8 gallon per flush toilet, which is called an ultra high efficiency toilet. You'll want to check your toilet for leaks, and it's very easy to do. All you have to do is remove the tank lid and any in-tank toilet cleaners. Just add a couple drops of food coloring in the tank and be sure to wait about 15 minutes, but be sure to not use that toilet during those 15 minutes. If the dye color appears in the bowl, you most likely have a leak. And most of the time, if there is a leak at the toilet, it's because of the flapper. And you can see a photo of the flapper on the right of the slide. They're available for purchase in packs of 3 at almost any home improvement store. And it's recommended to check and replace flappers about every 3 to 5 years. On to water filters. So the City of Glendale provides safe, high quality, and a reliable water supply. And the use of a home water treatment system, that's totally a personal decision. Just keep in mind that some of these reverse osmosis systems can use 2 to 9 gallons of water for every 1 gallon of purified water produced. And that's a lot of water down the drain. The most cost-effective and efficient means to filter your water would be install a carbon filter at the faucet and refrigerator, or you could use a pitcher like shown in the picture. Just remember that no matter which filtration system you have, you must change the filters frequently. All right, are you all ready to head outdoors? I know it's super hot today, so probably not the right question to ask. We want to stay inside where it's nice and cool. But our next stop today is going to be pools and spas. So earlier in the presentation, I mentioned that over half of the water use is used outdoors. And if you have a pool or a spa, here are some tips to help keep that water inside your pool. So you'll want to use a pool cover to reduce evaporation. And I know it can be a hassle, but a pool can lose its entire contents in a year due to evaporation here in the Sonoran Desert. You'll also want to check the fill valves and make sure to not overfill the pool. When you don't overfill your pool, it minimizes that potential water loss that you could get from splashing. Another tip would be to properly maintain those chemicals. You could also use backwash water from Bermuda grass and other salt tolerant plants like oleander instead of it having it go down the drain. And additionally, you could use pool companies that can help make those repairs without having to drain your entire pool. All right, so let's briefly review the 7 principles of xeriscape. So this could totally be a class on its own, so we'll only cover the basics. So xeriscape comes from the Greek word xeric, which means dry. I've heard some people mispronounce it as xeroscape, which to me sounds like no landscape, whereas xeriscape can be colorful, it can be diverse and attractive. And we love xeriscape here in the desert Southwest. So number 1, we want to have good landscape planning and design. You'll want to create a plan that includes both water and energy efficiency, like the use of shade trees that require very little water. Like Tanya said, shade is good. We definitely want to go for low water use plants and choose desert hardy species. As we like to say, desert plants do best in the Southwest. So remember the importance of putting the right plant in the right place. You don't want to put a plant that's going to get very big in a walkway where it could eventually need to be removed, right? That would be a waste of an investment. So we want to make sure that we're putting these plants in the proper location. Appropriate turf areas. So xeriscape isn't anti-grass. It's about making the best use of grass and eliminating any problematic or non-functional grass. We want to have efficient irrigation. This is really, really important. You can have xeriscape, but still overwater due to not watering the plants correctly. For soil improvements, we want to let those leaves be. Allow leaf litter to collect and decompose to build up that soil ecology. Healthier soil makes for healthier and happier plants. Use of mulches, this can be organic like wood chips or inorganic like decomposed granite. The purpose of having mulch is to retain soil moisture for the plants. And of course, appropriate maintenance. Put down the shears. The more you prune, the more you're stressing your plants, you're reducing their flowering capability, and you're increasing their water demand. We want to give plants the ability to take on their natural form. So Glendale was actually one of the first cities in Arizona and the US to start offering a grass to xeriscape rebate. Since 1986, Over 5,500 residents have converted grass to xeriscape. Glendale's rebate is also available to HOAs, multifamily, and commercial customers, although the rebate dollar amount would be more. For single-family residential customers, you can receive up to $750, depending on the amount of grass that has been removed. For our other customers, you can receive up to $3,000 per fiscal year. So if you're thinking about making that switch, please be sure to take advantage of this awesome program. So landscape watering could definitely be a topic on its own, but here are the essentials. So learn how to use your irrigation timer. Don't just set it and forget it. You'll want to adjust your irrigation schedule seasonally, ideally monthly. It's important to check the system regularly and plan for routine maintenance. And don't be intimidated by it because there are so many videos on YouTube that can show you how to program your specific irrigation timer. Also know that plants have different watering requirements. And so for this, just remember the 1, 2, 3 rule. Water smaller plants like ground cover, cacti, and annuals to a depth of 1 foot, water shrubs to a depth of 2 feet, and water trees to a depth of 3 feet. Just like Tanya mentioned that there's smart thermostats, there's actually smart irrigation controllers too. And smart irrigation controllers automatically tailor watering schedules and run times on sprinklers or drip systems to meet specific landscape needs. These systems use weather information and site conditions to determine how much water to apply and when to run your irrigation system. Once the smart controller is installed and programmed, minimal monitoring is required. Now, who doesn't love the sound of that? Studies show that most smart irrigation controllers can save up to 20% of the water applied by a traditional controller. And this is another option for you all to consider, and it may better fit your needs. And if so, consider making the switch. Okay, on to tree watering. So we live in a very hot climate and trees are an investment. We should always take good care of our trees because of all the benefits they provide to us and our communities, especially in the summer because of the additional shade they provide. I know we're all trying to find that one parking spot that has all that shade cover from that glorious tree. It's really critical to give those trees a deep but infrequent watering so they can establish a strong root system. There are watering stakes that you can purchase, or DIYers can make their own stakes by drilling holes in a section of PVC pipe. So if you're crafty, this might be an alternative for you to consider. You can install the stake in the ground around the tree and put water in the stake or PVC pipe. This method gets the water through the soil profile slowly and deeply, which in turn will help your plants thrive. So a tip you can use here is to place a barrel with a screen cover under the AC condensate line to capture that water. That water in turn can then be used to water your plants or even your grass. And every precious drop of water counts, and we want to make sure that we're getting the most use out of every drop. Oh, on to rainwater harvesting. So here is a quick video of a 210-gallon rainwater tank capturing some rain and hail off a roof. So let's see if this video works. Doesn't that just sound so soothing? I just love the sound of rain. Hopefully we'll get some more rain headed our way. So once again, we want to get the most use out of every drop. And as the tank fills up, you can use it to water your plants and your lawn. Keep in mind that your rainwater tank should have a lid to prevent mosquitoes from breeding. And this is an example of an active rainwater harvesting technique where rainwater is collected in barrels. There is also a passive rainwater harvesting technique where water is captured through a system of basins and berms in the landscape. And we actually have a rainwater garden here at the Glendale Main Library, right at the front entrance. So if you seem to be in an area nearby on a rainy day, feel free to stop by to see if you see any water flowing down the basins. Okay, so summer proofing your landscape. Here are some tips to prepare your landscape for the summer sizzle, even though the sizzle has already been in full force. You want to water your landscape 1 to 3 hours before sunrise to reduce water loss and to stay on top of those weeds. Those weeds can take water intended for your plants, and we want to continue to have every drop work for us. And we want to stop the summer scorch before it's too late. So you can do this by shading delicate plants from the sun, like your veggie gardens, your roses, your sensitive succulents, cacti, citrus, and newly planted plants. Test the soil moisture by using a long screwdriver, or if you have one, a soil probe. If you can push it easily into your lawn for several inches, you don't need to water. During the summer, your grass really only needs to be watered every 3 to 6 days. You'll also want to apply a 2-inch layer of mulch or gravel. Mulch reduces weeds, it nourishes the soil, it holds on to moisture, and protects your plant's roots. Next, you'll want to avoid heavy pruning. So again, put the shears down. Those branches and leaves provide additional shade for understory plants and for wildlife too. Be sure to check your irrigation system and adjust your sprinkler head so they don't spray sidewalks, driveways, walls, or buildings. I briefly talked about the landscape rebate program for Glendale water customers, so consider transitioning from grass to a desert-friendly landscape. Since Bermuda grass is in its active growing stage, summer is the best time to remove it. All right, so another way to save water is to be on the hunt for those leaks outside. So first, you'll want to walk your property while your irrigation system is running and several hours afterward to look for leaks. You want to check for missing or broken drip irrigation emitters, sprinkler heads, and bubblers. It's extremely important to look for leaks while the irrigation system is on to catch these mishaps, especially since most of our irrigation systems are programmed early in the morning or very late in the evening. Be sure to inspect your yard for wet spots, small holes or depressions, as these could be signs of an underground water leak. Another tip is to check your irrigation valve box for mud or standing water, like you see in the picture on the far right of the slide. And that's another sign that you have a leak. So happy hunting. Glendale has a lot of free resources. We have this free leak detection publication called the Smart Home Water Guide. And this is an easy step-by-step guide to help you find and fix leaks. This publication is available online and also in Spanish too. If you're old school like me and prefer a printed copy, I always like to scribble on hard copies and take notes. Hard copies can be mailed out to Glendale water customers. And at the end of this presentation, we'll provide information on how to request a copy. And if you don't live in the city of Glendale and you would like a hard copy, check with your local water provider. They may be able to assist you. We have all different types of publications available on how to have a beautiful xeriscape landscape. We have landscape plants for the Arizona desert that showcases over 200 low water use plants. In the middle here, we have landscape watering by the numbers, and this is a wonderful publication on how to best water your landscape. I highly recommend flipping through it at least once a year to keep it fresh on your mind. And then the final one is Xeriscape. It's a publication on designing a landscape that's attractive, it's energy efficient, and water efficient. And just like with the Smart Home Water Guide, all 3 publications are available online, and we can also mail these to you too if you prefer a hard copy. So if you go to our website, glendaleaz.com/water conservation, there's a tab called Request Free Publications where you can select which publications you want mailed. We recently opened registration for our Fall Green Living class series, so super excited about that. Our classes will be offered via Zoom like today. So August 25th, we have Building Healthy Desert Soils. August 31st is Desert Hardy and Resilient Landscapes. September 15th is Landscaping for Small Spaces. And on September 28th, we'll be offering this class again. So attend again as a refresher, or feel free to share with your family and friends that may be interested. October 13th is Bird-Friendly Backyard Habitats, and then the fall finale on October 27th is Growing Fruit Trees in the Desert. So you can again go to our website at glendaleaz.com/water conservation, and then there's a Green Living Classes tab that you can click to register for all these wonderful classes coming up. All right, and it's time for another poll question.
Okay, great. Thank you, Omine. All right, so here is our last poll question. Which programs and resources does Glendale offer its customers? Landscape rebate programs, free landscape consultations, a water use calculator, green living class series, free water saving guides, or all of the above. We'll spend just a couple more seconds here. Thank you so much, you guys, for polling. I can see some responses coming in. We'll share the results. And there you have it. Great job, you guys.
All right, I love the engagement. I love the participation. So thank you all for participating in that poll. All right. And so as we're starting to conclude here, as a follow-up, attendees will receive an email of the PowerPoint slides with the links and contact information. We value your feedback, and your responses help us in developing future programs. So please take a moment to complete an online survey by Monday, July 19th for a chance to win some amazing prizes. I would like to give a special thanks to SRP for donating the smart thermostats, Evolve Technologies for their shower devices, and Elgin Nursery for their Chilean mesquite tree. The winners will be contacted by July 20th. And we'd like to thank you all for joining us and SRP for partnering with us on this webinar. And I will turn this over to Tanya to talk about some of SRP's upcoming programs.
All right, so as I said earlier, we've got some shade tree workshops coming up. I'll be very quick about this. The next one is on July 31st. We're out of time, so I'm going to blow right past most of this content, but we will give you information about all 6 trees available. You'll learn from a master gardener about how to plant these trees and maintain them, so you get a really excellent shade canopy for your home. And slide. Now, SRP customers, I know you're out there. So if you log on to srpnet.com/summer and enter the code G is in good 4507, this is one entry, just one entry, but you can find more details about the Summer of Savings promotion by just digging through SRP's different web pages to get different codes, and also discover about efficient homes and various other programs and offers that SRP has going on for you. Now, the grand prize winner is going to win a prize valued at over $7,000. It's going to be an Energy Star top-loading clothes washer, dryer, dishwasher, refrigerator, and an 85-inch QLED Samsung Smart TV. So this is like a really sweet package. You can also earn other prizes, smart thermostats, LEDs, various other things. The grand prize winner will have the grand prize delivered and installed free of charge by Mesa TV and Appliance. So enter as many times as you can, because the more times you enter, the better your chances are to win that grand prize. So good luck. And that for this final slide, I'll turn it back over to you, Amine. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you all so much. So this is the last slide that we have. So we included some important resources and phone numbers. So we'll leave this slide up and we'll just stay on for a few minutes longer just to answer any remaining questions that may pop through the Q&A section. I really hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay cool out there and take care. And thank you so much for joining us today.